I would like to start this video by saying that there is very little we can take from Summer League. A majority of the players at Summer League will not play in the NBA, so seeing a player dominate doesn't necessarily mean anything. But disclaimer aside, here are some thoughts I had from Summer League. I have divided the players into several categories. The focus is mainly on rookies from this year's draft class, but there are some second year and later players I have included, and also I'm sure there are more players I could have added to this list. This is not all inclusive, but I just wanted to share some thoughts on the Summer League games that I watched over the past couple weeks, and just some things I saw, some thoughts I had. So the first category is titled Too Good for Summer League. These players were clearly too good to be out there because they were so much better than everyone else. And the list is Keegan Murray, Paolo Banchero, Quentin Grimes, Moses Moody, Cam Thomas, and Josh Giddey. So these players dominated at Summer League. Every time I watched them play, they clearly stood out on the court. Keegan Murray in particular, he was the Summer League MVP, I believe. In every game, he just looked so calm and he made good decisions. He hit a clutch 3 to force overtime in one of the games, and he scored 20 plus points in all but one game. So I know it's just Summer League, and everyone likes to overreact and talk about how, oh, everyone keep your receipts from people who are trashing the Kings for picking Murray over Ivy and whatever. Well, Murray looked really good at Summer League, and I absolutely think that it will translate into the NBA, but I'm still not ready to say that Murray is better than Ivy. That being said, he was too good for Summer League, that's for sure. Paolo looked incredible in the 2 games that he played in. There's 2 things that stood out to me about Paolo. First is his size. He's huge. He's a big guy. And then the second thing is his playmaking abilities. I watched a good amount of Paolo at Duke, and I think that I would agree that that was one of his strengths at Duke. But I thought his passing and playmaking ability was on full display in Summer League. And then also we know about his shot making. He's got great touch, great shooting stroke, and I thought he dominated both of the games that he played in, especially the one against Jabari Smith Jr. He just completely dominated that matchup. I was a little surprised that Quentin Grimes played so much in Summer League. There's a lot of those conspiracy theories out there that maybe the Knicks were trying to increase his value in a potential Donovan Mitchell trade. Maybe not. I don't know. But one thing's for sure, he was too good to be out there. Moses Moody scored like 30 plus points in his second game. You could just kind of tell after that game, like, yeah, I don't think he's going to be playing much more this Summer League. Like, I think he's done what he needed to. Cam Thomas is another player. He scored really well, just looked a class above. And then Josh Giddey, similar to Keegan Murray, he plays at a good pace, and his vision and his passing is excellent. He was, in my opinion, the best point guard at Summer League, and it was interesting to see him building his chemistry with Chet. I thought Chet having Giddey made each other look good, and that's actually a good segue into category 2. Category 2 I just titled Showed Flashes. So these players showed flashes of being productive, winning NBA players, but maybe they had some injury troubles or just other struggles that moved them into this category. So the 3 that I'll start with, Tari Eason, Benedict Mathurin, and Jaden Ivey, they all had the potential to be in that top category, too good for Summer League. I was close to putting them in there, but Tari Eason, I mean, he was first team all Summer League, but I don't know, I couldn't quite put him in that category, even though I think he's going to be a phenomenal NBA player, and the Rockets got a steal. Benedict Mathurin suffered an injury that held him out of 1 or maybe 2 games, and he looked really good, but not good enough for me to put him in that top level. And then Jaden Ivey suffered the injury to his ankle on the closeout from Isaiah Todd. I think he probably would have been in that top category if he had not got injured, because what we saw from him was incredible. He's an incredible athlete. He really impressed me, and I was really sad when he got injured because I wanted to see more of him. And so I'm excited to see how he fits alongside Cade in Detroit. I think big things are coming in Detroit this year. Maybe not the playoffs yet, but I think we're going to see Cade take another leap this year. I think we're going to see Ivy. He'll probably have some growing pains a little bit. He'll struggle at times, but I think we'll see the flashes of the potential that is inside of Ivy. I think he's going to be great. He's going to be a multi-time all-star in my opinion. Then going down more of the players that showed flashes: Chet Holmgren, Jonathan Kuminga, Jabari Smith Jr., Kenny Lofton Jr., Jaden Hardy, Poku, James Wiseman, Scottie Pippen Jr., Cole Swider, and there's a bunch of other players that I could have put in here as well. Chet, the reason why I didn't put him in the top category is because I thought he was too inconsistent. If he had played the same way he did in that first game when everyone was freaking out, Orlando Magic fans are like wondering what they've done to themselves, questioning whether they should have taken Paolo or not. But then the next game, he just wasn't as impactful as he was in the first game. And then there was kind of a pattern the rest of Summer League. There were some games where he looked awesome, and other games where he was tired. He got tired pretty quickly. Of course, there's the game when Kenny Lofton Jr. was bullying him, and that's a little bit of an outlier. I think Kenny Lofton Jr. is huge and strong, so a lot of players are going to get pushed around by him. It was just accentuated by the fact that that's a lot of the reason why Chet has been criticized. So I think, just as pretty much every analyst has said, Chet needs to get stronger. He needs to put on some muscle, and I think he needs to work on his conditioning. And if he does that, I don't really have many concerns about him being a productive NBA player. I think he's in fact, I'll say, I think he's good enough that I think he will never play a Summer League game again. We won't see him next summer in Summer League because he's that good. Kuminga struggled in his first game in Summer League, but I would blame that mainly on the fact that he flew back from Africa a day or two before, and so he was probably kind of tired and dealing with jet lag and all that goes with traveling that far. He came back, and the next few games he looked really good. He is athletically an NBA player. We saw him dunk on someone viciously, one of the best dunks of Summer League. I still have a few concerns about his decision making, and he's kind of emotional. It's okay to have emotion and passion and to react to things, but sometimes I think his emotions get the better of him a little bit, so I think that's something he needs to work on. But once again, I think he is going to take a leap this year with the Warriors. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time, and I think it's going to be a really good season for him. Jabari Smith Jr., a lot of people have criticized him. A lot of people have said that he doesn't have a very high motor. It didn't look like he cared a lot of the time, and I don't know that I really agree with that. I think it just took him a little bit of time to figure things out. He struggled offensively, but we saw at Auburn that Jabari Smith Jr. is a terrific offensive player, and so I think that will come. What really impressed me about Jabari Smith was his defense. He's long and he's very intelligent, and it's been widely documented as well that he communicates very well on defense. There was a lot of clips of him pointing, telling people where to go, yelling out switches, whatever. And so that's something that is a very strong quality that Jabari Smith has. But due to some of the offensive struggles, I'm not ready to put him in that top category. Speaking of pretty much the exact opposite, Kenny Lofton Jr. looked incredible offensively, probably one of the most talented offensive players at Summer League. He bullied Chet, as I mentioned earlier. He has really good touch around the rim, good footwork, and he's very agile and moves really well for his size. And so offensively, I have very few concerns about him. Defensively, though, I think he has some work to do. And so the defense is why I kept him out of the top category. Jaden Hardy, he was highly touted out of high school. He ended up going to the G League Ignite, and then he didn't have the best season there, so he slipped to the second round, which is crazy in my opinion. I think he is still a first-round talent, and we saw flashes of his offensive potential. He hit a lot of tough shots, but the problem there is that he took a lot of tough shots, and so he's not the most efficient scorer or at least he wasn't at Summer League. I think if he can take better shots and become a more efficient scorer, then he will definitely be an NBA player. But I'm a little concerned about his offensive efficiency. Poku, I still don't really know what to think about him. For being a 7-footer, he moves really well. He has great handles. I think him and Chet, they've been called the Thin Towers. I think it's an interesting concept, but personally, he's just kind of unpredictable. And so one play, he'll make some incredible pass, and then the next play, he'll just like do something very unsmart. He'll just like try and throw some pass and throw it like 10 rows into the stands. The flashes are still there, but I kind of expected to see more from him. James Wiseman, I think, showed a lot of flashes, especially defensively. He had some good defensive plays. He showed good touch around the rim. He hit a couple threes, but I think he's got to show more. Like, he's a very talented player, but every time I watch him, like I really think that Wiseman could be a 20-10 player if he puts in the work and continues to work on his game. I think he could be a 20-10 player and a very good defensive player, but I think there's still some things that he needs to work on. And then finally, Scottie Pippen Jr. I thought he got better as Summer League went on. I thought he had a very good control of the offense, good around the basket. From three, I think he could improve that a little bit, but I just really like his feel for the game, and he's a tough defender. I'm interested to see how much playing time he gets for the Lakers this year. My guess is that he won't get hardly any, but I feel like he is the quality of player where if they need him to step in for a game or two here and there throughout the season, then I think he is a player that's capable of that. But then their other two-way player, the Lakers' other two-way player, Cole Swider, I was very impressed by him. I don't think I saw anyone at Summer League or there's anyone in this draft class that shoots better than him. I mean, it remains to be seen whether that will translate into an actual NBA game, but the things that I like about him is that he's fearless and he just keep shooting even if it's not going down. There's one game where I think he started like 0 for 5 or something, but he just kept taking them, and then next thing you know, you look up and he's made like 3 in a row and he scored the Lakers' last 11 points or something. So the Lakers need shooting, and I think Cole Swider could be an answer there. There are concerns defensively for him, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I just think his shooting, it's too good to keep him off the floor entirely. The last category is category 3, which is I'm concerned. They struggled in Summer League, and I'm concerned about what it means for the future. And the only player that I really thought of that fits in this category was Johnny Davis. I know a lot of Wizards fans are concerned about what they saw from Johnny Davis in Summer League. He looked slow and unathletic, and he didn't shoot the ball very well. He didn't score a ton, and I think there's real concerns there, because if Johnny Davis is struggling in Summer League, then what's that going to look like in an NBA game? I think if he works on his game, I'm not ready to write him off. Like we said, this is just Summer League. There's nothing to overreact about here, but certainly the initial signs from Johnny Davis are not the best, but I'm rooting for him and hope that he's able to turn it around. Hopefully he works on his game this summer. I know he will, and we'll see how it goes down during his rookie season in the NBA. All right, well, those are some of my thoughts, my overreactions, if you want to call them, about Summer League. Once again, there's not a lot we can take from Summer League. It's just not, historically, it is not proven to be a great way to predict who's good and who's not. So I'm not ready to make any big, bold, Sharpie predictions from Summer League. These are just some of the thoughts I had as I was watching Summer League. Let me know what you guys think. Were there any players that impressed you that I didn't talk about in this video? Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you guys next time.